So I had to make a couple stops before starting this assignment. There will be a point where you need to hand over your entire inventory, and although there are a few ways to get it back, I decided to go home and leave behind anything I didn't want to lose later. Weapons that are quest items can be helpful here, since they can't be removed at all. Unless a glitch is triggered, apparently. Also, stealth/pickpocketing can be very helpful in this quest, so I decided to work on my sneak skill, which clearly needed some improvement. So head here on the map, just northwest of Shadenhall, to the Lake Arius Caverns. Keep in mind you cannot fast travel here without discovering it first. Also, please save. There are a good number of potential glitches that can be triggered in this mission, so, this is serious.
Dawn is breaking.
Okay, so the first guy you meet is not the dude who takes your stuff. That will be the next guy. So our first option is to just be straightforward.
Give me your possessions, and put on this initiate's robe. What? I ask you one last time. Then you have come here to die.
This will mean fighting your way through the whole cavern from the get-go. This may seem like the fastest way, and it means you'll never give up your stuff, but you will be fighting the most enemies possible in this scenario. The other paths include continuing along with the ruse and further infiltrating the Mythic Dawn, following Harrow inside until whatever time you feel is best to blow your cover. Ways to keep at least some of your gear in this case included, like I mentioned, having any quest items, dropping stuff on the floor before engaging with Harrow, sneaking past him without a conversation and having to constantly avoid him, pickpocketing him after he takes your stuff, attempting to kill him without detection after he takes your stuff, or even leading a follower or enemy inside from the beginning for the sole purpose of killing them and using their body as storage before talking to him. An option which I actually think might be the most helpful, but it's actually one of the ones I didn't try. Just keep in mind that whatever he ends up taking can only be retrieved by either successfully pickpocketing him or blowing your cover and looting him later. Bound items are also an option. Just don't be wearing bound armor when Harrow is removing your items, as that can cause the game to crash. Like I said, just save the game. If you can keep your hands on some lockpicks, there's also a storage room at the end of the hall outside the shrine with some gear in it. Like with weapons, you can always drop those lockpicks on the floor before your conversation, but those are a lot harder to find, so maybe drop the lockpicks in like a torch or something, that way you can actually see them. Ultimately, I think the only way to avoid any confrontation is to have incredible sneak and just leave your favorite gear at home. I'll just put a link to the wiki walkthrough in the description if you're interested in getting a list of all your potential options. Upon finally entering the chamber, you will see Mankar Cameron in the flesh, giving a speech and disappearing into a magical portal with the Amulet of Kings. Do not try to prevent him from escaping, as this is not an option intended by the game, and will only risk yet another serious bug later on. You can also, unsurprisingly, trigger a similar glitch by attacking any of the acolytes during the speech, then quickly jumping back into the previous room. It's just so many bugs. Anyway, your target instead will be the Mysterium Xarxes itself, sitting right next to a knife on this stone table. As soon as you grab the book, though, the massive sculpture of Mehrunes Dagon in the background will collapse and land on a poor, innocent prisoner. Now, this is where things can get even more complicated, and I will once again point you to the guide linked below if you want a full breakdown. So, if you've maintained your cover as the new recruit, you will be asked to perform a ritual sacrifice by murdering the aforementioned prisoner, an Argonian priest named Julius.
Take up the dagger and offer Lord Dagon the sacrificial red drink as pledge of your own life's blood.
There are many ways to attempt to save him. The simplest being, kill everyone then set him free before taking the book that will make the statue crush him. The problem is that you can only clear out the people in the first room, as the door to the next area will remain locked until you take the book. I tried this many times and failed, as he would run again into groups of enemies in new rooms, so he'd either die or just completely disappear. I'm still not sure what happened to him on my last attempt, but if he survives, well, you're supposed to see him outside the cave, which I didn't, so that's a bummer. But you should find him days later at the Temple of the One in the Imperial City, where he can also give you a skill boost in alchemy. Maybe I should just check there, but saving him is a ton of effort, so if he doesn't make it, just don't beat yourself up. Also, if you're evil, or just simply want to maintain your cover through this part, you can just perform the ritual and wait until people start leaving to more sneakily swipe the Mysterium Xarxes. Upon taking the book, the statue will collapse and everyone will go hostile. If you were fighting from the get-go, you can actually try to get people to follow you before you make the statue collapse, and it might take a bunch of people out. Just make sure you keep running and moving, as it's very easy to get overwhelmed by the large group of enemies. If you're trying to save Julius, well, good luck. We'll see how long I'm able to keep my eyes on this guy. Fight, run, or sneak your way through this door towards the shrine living quarters. And why did I get so confused by this layout? I don't know why. I'll have to skip all the parts of me just running around trying to figure out where I am. At least I tried my hardest here.
You cannot escape the Master's vigilance.
Lord Dagon!
Follow it until you hit this door to the Lake Arius Caverns. I think there was another door with what I think was the exact same name, and it required a key. I assumed you had to find that key. It turns out you don't, so that was really confusing. So first you need to find the living quarters, and then move on to the Lake Arius Caverns. I'm sorry, like, why did I not get a sneak bonus for this? It says ×1. That's so lame.
I do not fear death.
I totally didn't notice this handle right in front of my face, but this is what opens the rock wall that I shortly will realize is blocking my way out. Good job, me! This is the main room and the exit, but I'll end up going back at least one more time to find our Argonian friend. I have failed you. Head back to Cloud Ruler Temple to the Great Hall, where Martin is poring over his books.
Ah, you're back.
We'll give him the Mysterium Xarxes so that he can see if it holds the key to tracking down Cameron.
By the Nine, such a thing is dangerous even to handle.
This evil book was written by Mehrunes Dagon himself.
I don't know. Maybe. I suspect that the secret of how to open a portal to Cameron's paradise lies within these pages.
It is at this point that more Oblivion gates start opening up all over Cyrodiil. One specific gate will open up in front of Fort Sutch, a location that also makes an appearance during the Dark Brotherhood questline. If you don't deal with this threat before the final main questline ends, the last main quest being Light the Dragonfires, you will naturally lose the chance to complete it. This is also a very likely scenario given the fact that this side quest doesn't even appear in your journal, so that's why I just decided to do it now. You'll find it right here, north of Anvil, and you can simply head straight over, meet up with the Imperial Guards, and fight alongside them, but I wouldn't recommend it. Going straight there will just trigger hordes of Daedra to come swarming out, potentially killing a good number of soldiers. And I'm a major softie, so to limit the casualties, I decided to sneak up from the east, using my impressive skills, also an invisibility spell, and that's when I decided to make a challenge out of it. So you may remember the short I posted, that was this mission. It was that long ago. I'm not going to give specific instructions here, as you may not get the same plane of Oblivion as I did. I actually found this one to be particularly interesting though. I'm not saying I'd like to build a summer home here, but the architecture is actually quite lovely. Anyways, this is super straightforward. Just close the gate, help defeat the rest of the Dremora outside of it, and at some point the mission ends. I made sure to talk to the Legion captain, but I'm still not sure at which point the quest is considered finished. All I know is that I successfully saved the day and got all the accolades I could possibly need.
It's you, the hero of Kvatch. This is truly an honor.
Well, we are indeed one step closer to the Amulet of Kings. If you found this entertaining or helpful, then please efficiently level up this video and subscribe for more Oblivion content.